Good day, folks. I'm praying that all is well and sending out our prayers to those in California that are still going through that. It's been out a couple of hours now that the sentencing, I guess that's what they called it because there was no time or whatever, for Trump was just had. And so he was found guilty in the New York case. It was a paper case with Stormy Daniels was in it. Judge Merchant was in there. Brought to you by George Soros himself. Braggs. Brought to you by George Soros himself. Well, there's been a question that's been asked the last 6 months or so, or for the last year or 2 years, for that matter. How can you vote for a convicted felon? How can you vote for a convicted felon? Well, people like myself, which by the way, I did not vote, but people like myself correctly surmised that those 4 different cases manufactured that came from on top. The Joe Biden machine got busy, yo. It got busy with its lawyers, its judges, the DOJ, the FBI. Yeah, they got busy. Let me ask you this. Through what, going on 250 years now, Trump is going to be number 47. The party, the Democratic Party, blew through all those guardrails, years and years of rules to go after one man. To go after one man. All 4 cases were darn near brought up at the same time. And each one, from people that know, could be dismantled. I'm going to talk about this case now. When you go after the president or the former president and you bring him up in front of courtrooms with charges, indictments, for the first time in the history of America, you have to get it right. You have to look at the law and say, we're going to do this correctly. Where when people from the outside, they look in, they don't see no bias. There's this thing in law called the appearance of impropriety. Means that something looks wrong. Or like that judge in the Fannie Willis case. The odor of mendacity. Yeah. Okay, so this case is a paper case. They called it the hush money trial. Okay. And for you out there who have had people in jail or know somebody that's been in jail or is going through jail, all those cases we heard of people in jail that don't supposed to be in jail, they trumped up charges, just perfect here, etc. You guys should really be fair about this. Because how would you like if you had a brother that got locked up by the system, then the system turns around and suspend a law that's been on the books for years and years and years. And they suspend it just to get your brother. And after they're done and the year's through, because they gave it a year, then they go and they bring the law back. Imagine if they did that to a brother of yours, yo. So they did that in another trial. What's her name? Eugene Carroll. Some chick that supposedly 30 years ago or 35 years ago, Trump ran into in a department store. Supposedly he did something to her in a dressing room. The time had expired on that. And the reason why is because the memories of people changed throughout the years. That's why the law is written the way it is. You cannot come, except for like a murder rap is the only case, I believe, or rape now, that there is no time on it, where years and years and years could pass. And if the evidence is there, you could get got. But not in this instance, which was, it wasn't even rape. It wasn't even rape, yo. Though I know a lot of people want to go out there and say, oh, the rape is, no, nope. Or like they say, grape. Yeah. So, back to this case. Let's not forget it's a paper trail case. All right? Stormy Daniels gets up there and testifies that she had an affair with Donald Trump. You might say, and? Well, that has nothing to do with the paper case. Nothing. You might be asking correctly, well, why didn't the defense team object? They didn't because at that point of the trial, they've been overturned so many times that they understood it was beginning to look bad to the jury. So they just stopped objecting. They knew what time it was. They knew the judge that they had in front of them. They knew why they were there. Okay, so that's one, right? Remember, the appearance. The judge's daughter worked what I guess would be a super PAC, collecting donations from Democratic donors. This was all happening in the middle of a campaign. Machan's daughter was raising funds while all of this was going on. And people were giving money out. Those big donors, they were giving it up because they needed Biden and them to stay in office. Again, it just looks bad. It's not supposed to happen. That judge should not have been on that case. That's number two. Number three, they were going to put up a witness. The defense was. The prosecutor objected. The witness was an expert witness on paperwork when it comes to funds and the political thing, you know, donations and all of that. They said that he couldn't go on the stand. And number three is a doozy. When this broke, everybody was like, wow. And I'm talking about experts that were on CNN, MSNBC, all of them. When you're in trial and the trial is done and the jury, they're going to get the instructions. They say these are the charges. You got to pick one. An example, again, I'm not a lawyer. I just happen to be one, or I play one in front of the phone. That's about it. But um, an example, second degree murder, or uh, manslaughter. Again, I'm not exactly sure, but they're supposed to pick one. They're supposed to agree. Well, there was three choices. Old boy, I'm guessing by this time he knew when this was over and the Trump team went to appeals somewhere that was going to get overturned. He knew that. That's why, incredibly enough, at the end of the trial, he basically gave the instruction that they don't have to agree on one. They could choose any. So if two people chose count one and three other people chose count two, that would be fine. Except it doesn't work like that. They got grounds to do what? To overturn that conviction. But again, it doesn't matter. The purpose was served. In this case, it wasn't about the money thing because Trump got money. It was just make him look like a convicted felon. Make him look like a convicted felon. And that's this case here. There's not one case that when you look through it will stand. Not one of those cases, not one. And I'm just saying that people should look at this and think to themselves, man. And let me tell you what did happen. A lot of people did get scared behind that, including Democrats, businessmen. They got scared. They got scared. The other case, with Letitia James, that case, it's a case. It was Trump and a bank. Everybody, everybody got paid. There was no complaints. They're bringing him up on that. That judge said the property from Florida, Mar-a-Lago, they estimated to be worth 18 mil. What a joke. They just did an appraisal. I heard a few months back. 1 point something billion. With a B, I tell you, but again, it took a lot for these folks to do all this. It took a lot. And that's why when people say to us, well, how could you vote for a guy that's convicted? He's a felon. Well, I just kind of explained why. All right, guys, you have a good one. Be blessed and be safe.